All right. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Ed Talk podcast. Now, before we begin, I would like to invite you to follow the journey here of the Ed Talk podcast, the Unlimited Power Show, and in my life in general. All you have to do is open up your social media application and put in the word CEO Ambitionist. That's CEO Ambitionist. And there you find various other forms of content, from videos to interviews to podcasts. So don't miss out. So today, I wanted to come to talk to you about overcoming denial. How do you overcome denial in life? Last week we talked about persistence. This week we talk about overcoming denials. Sometimes you feel like you've been denied, but in reality, it's simply been delayed. A delayed event is not a denied event. We might say, okay, we're working on Miami time. Some people say that. We're working Miami time, so we're running a little bit late. That means it's delayed, doesn't mean it's denied. Sometimes you put in an application for something. You have to wait a little extra. Maybe they have to do some more background research to see if you really deserve it. Whatever it is you're trying to get is simply delayed, not denied. That's the basis of knowing when it's delayed and when it's denied. I believe that denial is mostly done by yourself. Because no matter how much time somebody say no, you can always say yes. You can always say that, I know they said no, but I'm not taking that. I know they supposedly denied my participation in this event, but I'm not going to take that for an answer. I believe that sometimes people delay what they want to give you in the first place to see if you're worth it or if you're actually going to go in for more. That's what life does. And that's what people do as well. So you're trying to figure out, what do you do in that case when you're trying to do something and it seems like it's not letting you through? You have to bust through. You have to say, I'm going to do this no matter what. So there are times where I'm telling my friends, I'm like, yo, we going to do this or not? I'm like, this is a great idea. You could hop on board. Are we going to do it or we not going to do it? You got to pick one of them. We going to do it or not do it? And if they chose not to, then you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward, even if it's like it happens in school. If you didn't get the proper grade that you wanted, it's not denied, it's simply delayed, right? Because how many times can you take a class over? You could take a class over twice. You could take a class 3 times, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't know how many, if the 6 is the max, but you could take classes over a lot. And I have. Because I realized it's not a denial, it's just a delay. A delayed event, probably a result of my inability to focus, or a delayed event caused by my inability to take responsibility. So most likely we have to look within ourselves and know for sure that we're not the one getting in the way, and then we can begin to deal with outside forces. But the mentality that I'll always find a way around it, that's a strategy that I think is the best strategy possible. Navigating. How do you navigate towards certain circumstances throughout the day? It's like, how do you respond daily to things? It's a mindset that you have in little things every day that's going to then bleed into the bigger decisions that you make throughout a lifetime. For instance, if you're on traffic, you're going through traffic, this is just a common thing, and you're stuck in traffic. If you're just tense the whole time, really upset about it, when it's not something you can change, then that mentality is the programming of your subconscious mind, causing you to believe that if something is taking longer than expected, that you're just going to get upset, instead of realizing that there are certain things that you can't change, that you just have to be patient through. So I try to actually enforce these little what I like to say, mental tricks on myself that kind of happen automatically. Like if I'm running for something like a train and the train misses, I'm like, hey, I can't change that. Or if I'm on an Uber and the Uber is gonna get to where I'm gonna get to, regardless of how anxious I am, I just realize, hey, we're gonna get there when we're gonna get there. I mean, either ways, we gotta deal with it. So it's patience. So I think the most important part out of all of this then it becomes patience, having the right patience to engage yourself in certain tasks and have a long-term vision. You know, long-term vision is everything. If you don't have a long-term view of things, then everything will be for the short game. Long game always gets you more yardage. If you ever seen football, somebody's playing football, yeah, you could have the running back run from every play, and they could do a good game, but that running back is gonna be worn out. And if that team has a good passing game and they're throwing it long, deep in the hole, guess what? That team is gonna lack in scoring comparable to the other team. That's because when you play the long game, you get more yardage. You know, you can play short game. You can just like kill yourself, but not only will you get less yardage, but your body gonna take too much of a toll, so you can't go longer. So that's why you have a bigger vision about yourself, about what you want, and always keep it big. But you gotta yesterday I was saying, hustle local, think global. You know, that's the tagline right there. Hustle local, think global. Where you're at right now, you gotta think local. Like, what do I do with the best of my circumstances right now? And where you want to be in the future has to be much global. It has to be, how big can this get? You know, how much more can I learn? Who can I become? What can I do? So it's like you're hustling local, but you're thinking global. Hustle local, think global. That simply means go in your community and do what you can with what you have right now. Show your greatness within your surrounding right now, but then have global dreams to do it 10 times better, 30 times better, 40 times better. It's like the same thing. You know, if I'm doing a podcast here, I'm thinking global, but I'm hustling local. You know, local show, going through the system, going here to our TV. It's a local show, but it's global dreams of doing this at a wider scale. In fact, this is actually a good example of that, because not only is this in a local location, I'm hustling locally, but this is reaching globally. What you do locally often will reflect in the global world if you do it good enough. So that's where the tagline comes when you say hustle local, think global. You have to think big, but you have to work hard like you're little. Always, you have to work, think like a boss, work like a slave. That's pretty much the concept. I love it. Hustle local, think global. That's the new tagline. Tagline for the new business idea of connecting people from all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm ecstatic to do a new venture and go about what can I do to further improve my life in the circumstances. But what we was talking about earlier, we were talking about how do you overcome denial. Is knowing that a delay is not a denial. A delay is not a denial, and only you can continually deny or admit that you're just lacking in growth, so that things have to be delayed until you've grown enough to meet the blessings that God has in store for you. You know, these things are already there, but maybe you haven't grown. You know, maybe you haven't become that person worthy of great success. You know, we don't get out of life what we want. We get out of life what we become, who we are, what we do, what we enjoy. All of that comes into play as to who we become. Les Brown says that we only should surround ourselves with quality people. Only quality people. OQP. What are you putting into your ears every day? what are you doing to grow? What are you reading to grow? If you're not reading to grow, your reaping is not going to sow. So we have to begin to grow every day, or else we're literally suppressing our own greatness. And the worst thing is not to be average or basic or untalented. The worst thing is to be great and suppress that greatness. The worst thing is not to be amazingly talented. Amazingly untalented, or that's not even a word, amazingly dissatisfied with your talents. The worst thing to be is super talented and not being able to use that talent, because you haven't made a decision yet to actually make that happen. So I believe that the worst thing we could do is not be great, because you are. It's not like a debate. If you're great, it's a fact. Now you must begin to act if you're gonna make this happen. You must begin to work on it every day. You must begin to focus on it every day. You must begin to literally dream upon it every day. When you wake up in the morning, if this can be one thing in your head, then that's amazing, because you're like, okay, I'm all into this every day. You gotta study every day. You gotta study yourself every day. You have to literally study life, study the marketplace, study for your classes every day. It's an everyday growth thing. It's like people think it's once in a while, or it's that time. No, it's all the time, every day. So that's how you get more patience, is by nourishing your mind. If you're hungry, you have a hungry mind, then you're like a child without food. And a child without food is going to start crying. And it's not the best sight when a child starts crying, because they're hungry. And because it hurts your heart as a parent. And the thing is, when you put that analogy in real life, you don't have a parent, as far as like some mystical force walking around and saying that you're hungry. Nobody knows if your mind is hungry. You don't have a parent for your mind. You're that parent. Because you're that one in control of it. So when you're not nourishing your mind, you start to act like a child. And a child cannot get things done, because a child is like, me. I am hungry right now, which is understandable. So if your brain is hungry, go feed it. Instead of opening the fridge to get food for your belly, open up the fridge of the books to get food for your mind. Open up your ears to listen, to get nourishment for your mind, soul. So growth is important. No matter how you grow, you just got to go towards that direction of, how can I grow today? It's not like, where can I go today? It's like, how can I grow today? And in turn, you'll end up going farther than you ever wanted to go. And you're just like, wow, I've been growing every day. Now I'm going everywhere. So that's the whole concept. It's amazing to be part of the journey towards that route and making the changes within my life, where this podcast and everything that I say can seemingly be in tune with what I'm currently doing. So yeah, it's amazing to have control. It's amazing to feel that you're in control of your life and you're actually satisfied with who you are and what you got. If we all can have that sense of character towards, our lives, then that's kind of like amazing. That's something we all want. So we all should try to do it better every day. None of us have really figured it out. We all are just constantly growing every day. And we're not focusing on where we're going, because we're growing. And with that growth, the possibilities are endless. The possibilities are at your fingertips, but you have to go all the way. And going all the way also means that sometimes you got to sit down and you have to listen around you, listen within you, listen to other people. You may think you know what you're doing or how to go about doing everything, And someone could put their insight and literally revolutionize your entire life. And you're just like, whoa, that's a really good insight. If you had an idea you're working on, don't be so stuck on that idea. Think of how other people's knowledge, OTQ, how other people's knowledge is good. You know, only quality people. So always be open-minded. The worst thing to be is a closed-minded person, is a closed door. No abundance can enter if you're closed for business. No customers will come in if you're closed for business. You gotta be awake. You have to be like, okay, I'm here for this business right now. This is what I offer. And it's either you're gonna come in or you're not gonna come in. But you can't go about life in such a way that you're just closed all the time. Like the same door that closes so that pain and agony doesn't come in is the same door that closes so that love and happiness also doesn't come in. If you're running from ghosts, you're also running from angels. If you're running from the creditors, you're also running from the lottery. And you're not winning the lottery, you're running from it. Because if the lottery ticket come and you're trying to avoid the bill collectors, you miss out on both. Not one, but both. So realize that a closed door doesn't close bad things away from coming in. It also closes good things. So be open-minded, be open-hearted, and open for new things, new possibilities. You know, so it's always good to be open to see and learn and become, because that is the best thing that you can do for yourself, is to allow yourself to be a reservoir for growth and wealth and abundance and plenty streams of income, streams of happiness, of relationships that you love, of new ideas and experiences that you will hold into not only your heart but soul and ancestry holdings. So you can pass that on every day, everywhere you're at. You can pass it on by being yourself first of all, and then seeing other selves. So being yourself is number one, but then seeing others, actually noticing of their presence, acknowledging them, is actually a beautiful and most important, if not the best way to contribute to this universe. Is literally to recognize things, people, ideas, yourself, situations, and be in calm sense throughout the day. A tree doesn't wave vigorously all over if there isn't a storm. Its natural habitat or natural personality, if we were to give a tree personality, its natural personality is to be still, to be calm. And a tree get moved by the wind at times, but the root is always deep and rooted into the ground. So let's resemble a tree. We resemble a tree, but we're not stuck in place. We can move, we could redirect our steps to go to a different forest or an island. So that's the beautiful thing. But that one attribute of a tree, which is to be still in life, firm in its character, and very bountiful, because a tree by itself provides a lot of oxygen, and with many others provide oxygen for the entire world. I don't know how many trees are planted in the world, but I know there's a bunch of them of all types of strands ready to grow and bloom and flower and give fruits and vegetables for us to eat and oxygen for us to breathe. So that is just like amazing, because if we are like trees and trees are like us the bearer of life and tree the bearer and guardian of life, then it means that in our calm nature we can transcend the negative energies that we get, can transcend stress and anxiety. So that's a pivotal thing right there, recognizing how stillness in yourself, stillness in trust and in faith that something out there, I believe God will help you stay through the circumstances that you go through, help you stay through the bad occurrences in your life that you wish never happened, that you go through. You will have that rod and staff to protect and hold you firm. So that's how you can realize that it's not a denial, but it's a delay. And until you back down, you will never be denied, because denial is your acceptance that someone said no or something said no, is accepting it. So don't accept it and just go for it. So that's about it. I'm going to cut up the Ed Talk Podcast show today. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this episode here on the Ed Talk Podcast. Once again, my name is Edouard Gilles. Please be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. It's at CEO Ambitionist. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. I would like to leave you with one more message, is that you have the unlimited power within you to achieve whatever it is that you want. But you got to first believe it. You got to see it. You got to envision it. And you literally have to be it before you be it. Peace.